Welcome, everybody, to the Loud and Drunk podcast. This is Dan. This is going to be more like the Loud and High podcast. So, Moses, what is your favorite movie to watch high?
There's a couple, but I love, there's Caddyshack or Ghostbusters.
Caddyshack or Ghostbusters?
Which Ghostbusters?
Yeah. The first one.
Okay.
The first remake?
No, the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah, continue on. Just Ghostbusters? That's how you are? And, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I guess.
That movie.
I mean, they're classics. Wow, you are giving me nothing.
I don't know what you want.
You Rasputin motherfucker.
He does have the look for it.
Justin, sir,
Yes, sir.
what is your favorite movie to watch high?
Oh boy. So, I like a lot of bullshit that really fucks me up when I'm high. So, something with a lot of nonsense. Maybe Stripes.
Stripes. Oh, wow.
Stripes is a great movie.
What a reach.
That's a great movie.
That's a ridiculous answer.
I love that. You know
It
what?
is ridiculous, but it's true.
I don't know why it wasn't on my list.
Bill Murray's going 3 for 3?
Yeah.
Bill
He's got a lot of strong ideas that may come out later. So, yeah.
Well, I would love to mix it up.
Who are you?
My name is Giuseppe Alvarez, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Giuseppe, for coming today.
Giuseppe,
Thank you for having me.
what is your favorite movie to watch high?
Apocalypse Now. I'm glad that I was able to mix it up from what these other gentlemen were
we
saying.
needed a little bit of levity in this.
Yeah.
Can you honestly make it through that almost 4-hour movie?
Yes.
High.
Yes.
Watching it.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
How dare you look me in the eyes and lie to me?
Well, first of all, I am staring at the bar in front of me because I've been
And that's
drinking
how,
an
Dan.
awful lot. So I don't know that I can make eye contact with another human being. But what I can tell you is that when I'm high, I am lost for at least 4 hours. And
Yeah.
Redux brings me to that place that I need to be at. And and I enjoy it. Nice war drama. War drama.
What a pleasant...
You sound like a habitual user.
Well, shockingly, that's not the case, actually. I very rarely smoke weed, but when I do, it's all about Apocalypse Now Redux. Oh, you got a myriad list of actors in there. I'm going to defend this all day. I feel like we're going to circle back
I
to
love
it, so
your
I don't wanna-
defense. It has a myriad list of actors.
It really does. Charlie Sheen would beat the shit out of you right now if he heard the tone that you just said that.
That Charlie Sheen
I think
would...
Charlie Sheen could beat the shit out of me any goddamn day.
Was it Martin Sheen?
Well, Martin Sheen was in it too.
Oh, wait, everybody.
Dan, please continue us through this bullshit.
We also have a guest.
Yes.
A guest so nice.
Is it Martin Sheen?
It's, well, speaking of Tiger Blood.
Let producer Dan do his shtick.
A guest so nice. We didn't bring him back twice. We brought him back thrice. Please welcome back to the show, Pat. Pat, what is your favorite movie to watch high?
Pleasure to be back. Thank you all. My favorite movie to watch high is definitely Airplane.
Oh, my God. That's
That
a
is
killer
a good one.
answer.
Not only
killer
is it
fucking
a
answer.
very hilarious movie that stands up to repeat viewings, I love to sit and watch a comedy and really analyze it
Yeah.
and appreciate it. And Airplane is a master
Quintessential.
class.
Yeah.
Quintessential.
There are jokes there that people haven't even discovered yet.
Normally, I want to quip about these types of things, but all that I have to say is that is a fantastic fucking answer, and I would appreciate it so much more, except I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
Yeah.
and it's just... I love it, though.
listen.
That's the perfect answer. It really is.
That is truly a perfect answer, and I love that film.
It's
so
an
much.
artistry in
So
the very
much.
art of writing.
Yeah.
But also-
the jokes are brilliant.
I'm gonna just put this little anchor in right here now. Airplane 2.
Let's talk about that.
Which is what we'll probably have the most lack of grace talking about.
Yeah.
So Airplane, Leslie Nielsen, and so many people. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting once, and it was amazing.
He does-
I
he
did.
does a lot.
I've met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I actually... This
That's
is a
what I
total separate tangent, but at some point, maybe during this podcast, I want to tell you how my brother just met Taylor Swift the other day.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh my god.
Total
That's a different
side story.
podcast.
Nothing to do with movies.
Oh, we got to get him back on here.
Yeah. It's a little side thing. I thought you might appreciate that.
Well,
Pat.
Is he
take that
represented by
side
her
thing
too?
and stick it sideways up your ass because we're talking about airplane right
Let's
now.
talk about airplane, baby.
So I think one of the things that they absolutely nail in Airplane is the tone of every single performance. Everyone in this movie is a straight man.
Yeah.
Everyone is playing these ridiculous jokes completely straight and sticking to the way that it is satired in a way that I think makes like movies like Pineapple Express or Tropic Thunder like really
they're
fine.
all
they're all
those that
troping
came
that.
post, yes.
Yeah, they all followed in that comedy.
Yeah, but like you have movies that leaned too far into the silliness and like too many winks at the camera
is a
into the
balance.
performances.
Yeah.
And in Airplane, they really don't let everyone wink to the camera.
No, they
It's
don't.
just-
They don't.
No.
It's
full on.
literally
Yeah.
you're getting hit in the side of your ribs by a joke you didn't really expect because you're focusing on what's in front of you.
yeah.
I will say this,
Also, the
though.
rewatch of it is
part of what I love about that, and it doubles down on what you guys are saying, is that yes, it's very like it hits you in the ribs, as you said, but it does it multiple times.
Oh, no.
The same joke. Like, that's one of the things that I really love about that. One of my favorite jokes from that is "Good luck, we're all counting on you."
Yeah.
And it was funny the first time, and then they just do it again and again and again, and they do it throughout the film, and somehow every single time, like myself as a lover of that film, it still always kind of like surprises me. It catches me off guard. There's like a joy to it, but it's even like I forget the name of the person who was he was the pilot who ended up he's sitting basically he's sitting in the seat and he's telling a sob story, and it's a trope, obviously. You know, this is the life that I had before, and he has a cascade of people who are seated next to him who commit suicide in various different ways. And the whole thing is done so fucking straight. And it's just the same joke. They're just telling the same joke over and over, but every time they tell it, it's better than the last time. That's tough to do.
It is textbook perfect comedy.
Yeah.
They do the rule
Completely
of three.
agree.
Yeah.
They do these jokes that they know land 3 different ways throughout the movie, and it just fucking pays off. There's so many running jokes through the movie.
it's a Monty Python of
It's not even
way of
Monty
doing that.
Python. It's full
better than Monty Python,
orchestration.
yeah.
They
of-
go back to the
yeah.
well perfectly each time so that it builds on the last one rather than gets diminishing returns.
Yeah.
It is truly like, and I mean this fully. And thank you, Pat, because like this particular movie is such a perfect example of like an orchestration of yucks.
It's a perfect comedy. It's a
And
perfect
it's
comedy.
like it just all leans into each other without overshadowing any individual part.
I just want to talk about all the individual jokes in this film. It's hard not to.
But it's beautiful and it's in its own way. And like obviously with anything that's beautiful, it gets distilled down into worse shit because they did obviously like
Airplane too.
Airplane 2. Yes.
You can't recreate the comedy of it because it seems too on the nose when you do it now, when you do that same type of thing. And also, and I don't know that this is true, so it's my own personal digestion of it, I guess. My own personal version of what makes it comedic. Like, there's so many things that are just like directly topical as well that maybe you can't do as well today. I mean, like there's subtleties to it. Like one of the this goes back to that I do want to talk about the individual jokes.
It is it serves as a time capsule.
Yes.
Yeah,
it is very
well
of the
said.
moment.
Yeah. But there's that moment where there's like 2 black men on the plane, and they're stereotypes of the period. It's a thing that we don't think of too much these days.
Oh, that's right. I speak jive.
Yeah, and the stewardess is like, she goes
the
try and
old
talk to
white
2
lady.
black men.
Yeah.
And then there's a super old white lady.
Yeah.
I speak a little jive.
yeah.
Bone slash back on that medicine. And it's like this magical moment.
Yeah.
It's this particular, as you said, it's a time capsule of that period, and it's I think it's the perfect comedy. I think it's the perfect answer.
There's a lot of things that are even like similar because like I miss that type of shit. For people our age, we're closing in on 40, right?
Yeah,
so like
closing in on it.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you old bastard.
Yeah. Somebody's bitter.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
But like I tie this all into like a certain time and stuff like that. Say we talk about like Mel Brooks.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. Blazing Saddles. I was going to draw
the
that.
world and stuff like that. And it's like I grew up on that shit. And that's like the kind of comedy that, like, whether, I'm a product of when I grew up.
Yeah.
It's all like tongue in cheek.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's illustrative and so in your face and dumb, but so poignant at the same time.
And it addresses, and I don't want to get into like the cultural aspect of it because that's like a political, philosophical kind of conversation. But it addressed topical things in society, the things that we observe as the differences between all of ourselves, essentially, and draws comedy to that, which I do think is relatable to everybody, the ways in which we're different.
What I would say, if you don't mind me interjecting, in the way I grew up, it made it seem like the blue collar kind of way. It made sense to the people that were like on the ground.
Yeah.
It's
the people
its
I knew.
audience.
You're able to make fun of something that is foreign and different from you without actually denigrating it, without making it a bad thing. That's what the jive thing was.
Gentlemen,
it wasn't making fun of it.
I got to jump in here because this is the slowest lightning round in human history. We were on question 1.
Oh, fuck.
There's more?
Yeah, there's more to this.
All right,
because this podcast
Take us out of here.
This podcast wasn't about the movie Airplane. If we want this to be a topic,
we want it to be so hard.
We can explore that topic later.
Dan, I have a question.
We need
serious
material
question
for the paywall.
Can we just talk about Airplane for the rest of this episode?
Dan, put us back on the path. What do you want us to talk about,
Let's
baby?
hear it. Let's hear it.
Next question. Moses, what is your favorite method of taking weed? Like gummies? Like, knowing you probably like drop it right into your eyeballs.
It's all the methods.
It's all tinctures.
Man rolls up here like high on half the drugs that the planet's ever created.
Well, this is why it's an interesting question for him.
No, you're fair.
All right, what is it?
I prefer eating it. I smoke cigarettes a lot, and I used to enjoy smoking weed, but I don't have the lung capacity anymore to do it, so I'd rather
Amen, brother.
just eat it.
Yes, if I can back up his own account because he's being very gracious. Yeah, he likes to eat it and also eat whatever anybody puts in front of his fucking face.
Especially dumplings.
Well, yeah, if
it's a dumpling.
If you exist out there and want to sponsor this podcast and have dumpling edibles,
Send in your dumplings, and we'll have a contest.
It'll be a very linear
contest is this?
Who made the best dumplings?
It will be an incredibly linear contest. But you are the eater of the weeds.
Yes.
Yes. This is the best way I can put this.
I enjoy that because it's like Galactus, eater of worlds.
Well, yeah, you also did me dirty once in AC, but that's fine.
Oh, stop.
Oh, stop.
I would have gotten you a hot dog.
Well, I mean, you were there for it. Well, I had to wait so long.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I gave him one, and I told him they were weird.
I think we need to get back to this story.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll chime in with my perspective.
Please.
On the best ways to imbibe marijuana. Mm-hmm. Personal sentiment is that I'm not a huge fan of the drug in the first place, and not just because of my religious beliefs. I enjoy it. I think that it is a fun narcotic.
I mean, it's not wrong.
That said,
Shut the fuck up.
that said, thank you, Moses, for supporting my
Technically
perspective.
right, and that's the best kind of right.
I personally am a drinker. I love the drink. So it's very rare that I actually enjoy the sinful drug that is marijuana, THC,
The devil's
whatever you want to
lettuce.
call it. The devil's lettuce. yes.
Yeah.
So typically, I used to smoke a little bit.
Yeah.
Fair amount. Then I got too paranoid. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do that anymore. And so then I switched over to consuming it, in the vein that you do, Mr. Moses. I do that sometimes, but I find that it knocks me the fuck out. So it's like a thing that I do at the end of the night. Like it's basically, to me, it's like taking like a melatonin.
It's a digestive.
If I could piggyback on your statement, I generally, drinking is probably the worst for all of us, but it's the one that's legal.
It's the one that's legal.
And it's
the one that
what
I
I'm
like.
used
It's
to.
the most legal.
Yeah. When it comes to weed, and it is like we live in Jersey, it's a legal thing you can do. I have to choose between one or the other.
Yeah.
If I'm going to drink
I agree.
and smoke, I'm going to be passed out in my seat within.
I tell people, even here at this podcast, somebody's like, I'll be like, I'm fucking half a bottle of whiskey deep.
Yeah.
And somebody, usually you, Moses, you'll offer me mescaline and Dramamine. And one of the things you offer me is marijuana.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if I do any of these things that you have under your trench coat for some reason, then I will no longer be functional for this event.
Moses is the trench coat kid.
Absolutely. He's wearing 3 trench coats right now.
Yeah.
And it
is getting warm in here.
Yeah, well,
and now it sounds like you're all a bunch of fucking narcs.
You have an enormous amount of chemicals in your bloodstream right now. That said, for myself, it's that I'm very much so more an alcohol kind of person. But I do find that marijuana is enjoyable in its own right. And I tend to imbibe it like towards the end of the day. When I know that I don't have to interact with other people anymore or anything like that.
And we will. It's very much the same. I have to choose one or the other. And they all have their place. And like if I were to like fully do like a study on it, probably weed is better than booze. But booze is the native thing we know.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're Americans.
Weed is way better than booze.
Yeah, I kind of like the combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a tendency to occasionally, if I use cannabis, to have like a panic symptom or like a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I tend to find that having a couple of drinks with it, like calms me to the point that that's less likely to happen. But
it's God's medicine right there.
But yeah, but not everyone is like an anxious fucking mess. So
yeah.
Oh, I mean,
here we are.
Everybody's different.
I have things I'm coping with.
and
this is the nest.
Pat, in full honesty, like I've always been a fucking manic person. I'm very honestly just like a very introspective. What's the difference between extroverts, introverts? I'm an introvert. Always have been, and I think I've gotten better with expressing myself outside of my friends in like recent years. But like, it's a massive amount of like chaos in the way my brain wants to operate. It's tough.
I'll say this, that as a Jew, I don't really understand what anxiety is.
No, how would you?
Why would
But
you?
I'm trying to sympathize with that right now. And there's a part
you know
of
what?
me
I'm very thankful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is a fish aware of the water until you take it out of it?
Something like that. At the very least, I'm happy to look down upon all of you.
Yes.
Every time
God bless. God bless.
when he talks like that, when I look down that way, all I see is Nick Kroll.
Wow. All right.
What is it like to be chosen?
Yeah.
I long to.
Well, I think that you need to ask Jesus Christ, right?
All right. All you shut up for a second. All these things, like drinking, smoking, all this stuff has been like incredibly fun for me. And like what I said before, I was always a very stereotypical introverted person. And like that was fine, all well and good, and I had my own friends, stuff like that. But like booze is what really like opened my world up. And I'm not saying that like, oh, it's good for you, booze.
Booze does that. It nurtures.
It brings out extroversion.
You bloom like a flower on it.
It gives you, as an introvert, this kind of like feeling like, oh, I can exist in this fucking world.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because like we are, and I'll obviously say this, like I am blessed to have you guys as friends. A lot of you guys have known each other a lot longer than I've known you, but like I've known the main meat of you guys for like 20 something years now.
Long fucking time.
Yeah, obnoxious as fuck. But there is confidence to be gained through alcohol's the easiest one. It's the one that's
I'm sorry to interject.
No, I'm looking for that. Yeah.
For myself, smoking ganja, eating it, whatever methodology one employs, it doesn't give me confidence.
No.
No. It's just I enjoy doing it, but it doesn't give me confidence. Whereas alcohol is like it's more of an analog to a stimulant,
I don't really get confidence
methamphetamine,
with
something
weed.
like that. I feel like a big man.
Yeah.
I get comfortable with weed.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm definitely an introvert. And
Yeah.
my default status is that I am going to initiate a conversation with somebody, and therefore I am going to annoy them.
Yes.
Like, I am going to make someone's day worse by opening my goddamn mouth.
I have that situation with my soon-to-be wife.
So alcohol helps that problem.
Yes, it does. It does.
Now, layered on top of that, I have the other problem of just not talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cannabis helps me just lean into my better social tendencies. So the combination of the two for me, it's like, all right, well, I don't necessarily feel like I'm going to annoy you, and I maybe feel like I can make you laugh.
Pat, I am actually fully behind you on this because, like, I'm just looking to find that balance. You know what I mean? And because listen, this is Loud and Drunk Podcast. We drink and we get fucking drunk and we say some dumbass fucking shit. And that's not.
I've drank
stop.
about a bottle of whiskey today. It is shocking.
But I am looking to maybe chill myself out every now and then.
So this was an interesting lightning round
Yeah.
because I think only one person actually answered the question. You don't want to imbibe marijuana? Is that what I'm getting? You just rather drink? No, that wasn't the question. What would you rather do than it was?
I'm not a big ganja guy. I'm not a big ganja guy. You don't call me out like this, Dan.
Justin didn't answer the question either. He waxed poetic
I
about
waxed
Frank.
poetically and said nothing.
So I will reiterate because
Reiterate the question, and I'll give you a speed round
Justin
answer.
first, then May, and then I'll answer it real.
Justin.
Yes.
What is your preferred way of
Drinking.
imbibing marijuana?
So edibles. Edibles is what I go to.
Can we real quick? I'm sorry, Dan. Can we just acknowledge that Moses is completely losing his shit?
Yes, he is losing his shit.
Like,
right
is he
now.
okay? Should we get
No,
medical?
let's not pay attention.
All right.
When it comes to weed, I'm a drinker first.
I don't know what was
When
so
it comes to
funny.
weed, I have found that edibles are my
We're
best
losing
friend.
Pat. All right, I'm sorry. Is it on me?
Don't give him attention.
I'm sorry, he's very distracting. All right, what's my preferred way to imbibe marijuana?
Yeah.
When I do, it's by eating it, and it's at fucking midnight.
Yes.
That's how I do it. That's when I do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moses,
And
get your shit together.
I don't even think we got an answer from you, Pat. What your preferred method of imbibing, pot was.
You don't
So-
do no drugs.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
So, Pat, what's your preferred method?
My preferred method is to watch the movie Airplane.
Oh, okay. All right. Good
And then
start.
he boots
Good
it
start.
through the
Good
ass,
start.
right?
Well,
Moses, how does that work? You stick the needle in with the marijuana?
All right, shut the fuck up. Give him a way to talk.
Sorry.
All right. No, for real, my preferred way is to vape it. I live in an apartment building, and I have neighbors who smoke weed, and I don't fucking care, but, like, I don't want my apartment to smell
like
weed.
dank.
So, like, I know
You know what I'm talking
when
about.
my neighbors are smoking, I just don't want them to know when I am. So I prefer to use a vape.
I can vibe with that sentiment because I put it into the perspective of would I want my neighbors to know how often I'm drinking? And then they judge me by that. That would be terrible. Yeah. This man is never sober.
Well, I find myself somewhat in the middle here. So, like, I've never, and this may be a learning experience for me. I've never been one for, like, the vaping aspect of it or whatever the case may be.
I don't like that either.
I didn't ask you.
Oh! Zing. Yeah, smoke a cigarette.
So, I mean, and this is.
Sorry, Justin. I just had to double down on that. It's not often he gets really quipped. Go ahead.
Pat, you live in a world that's much more closer and. I'm sorry.
Tough to double back on.
Yeah, no. But I fully understand what you're saying. I'm more inclined to find different means than, like, say, rolling something or smoking proper flower or whatever the case may be. I've always been a little bit, like, obviously there's like vaping and stuff like that, but like I know friends who are psychopaths who like do, what do they call that shit with the wax?
Dabs.
Dabs.
Oh, dabs, yeah.
And it just seems like such an insane thing.
I
to me.
did.
Yeah.
I did that. Like I was dating a girl, and I did that once. Like in her car, we were going to go on a hike,
Right.
and she was just like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "No, probably not."
Yeah.
And she kind of like pressed me a little bit about it, and I was like, "All right, yeah, fine. I've smoked weed
I'll
before."
be a bitch boy.
And I took like what I thought was the tiniest hit. I was so fucking out of my mind. Like just like discomfort times 1,000.
I don't want to be there. I have control issues.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that
Yeah.
position.
And that's just it. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I like the vape is that you can exhibit a lot of control over the dosage that you do, and it's super convenient.
Yeah.
It's just there and charged, and you can use it. You can take a very little amount, or you can take a lot. Like, you can really, like, make sure that you are just where you want to be in that moment.
I don't know how to hit those like apparatus, like on a joint or smoking a bowl. You can
it's
see
rare
what you're doing.
It's rare that I agree with you, Moses, but I actually, and
That's
maybe
why-
this isn't where you're going with it, but I will say this about myself.
I can't
When
tell
it
what I'm
comes
taking.
to like a vape. That's like a ganja vape, right? And like I know what you said is true. You can regulate it. You can choose what you want to take out of that. And then I have it in my hand, and I just like take the deepest rip off of it.
Yeah, and you
I'm
get,
just
like-
fucking so fucked up, and I don't know what I did wrong.
That's just that's the douchebag in you, where you just want to rip
so
a
right.
sick cloud.
I am not going to argue with you at all. You're 100%
So, like,
right.
listen, everybody. Let's bring it in because it's something we've all fucking done. We've all ripped too hard and gotten way too high too fast.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
How, like, I'll lead in with my own fucking story. But, like, all right. So, way back in the day, we're going back into the very early aughts. Like, 02, 03.
In the year 2000.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Pat, I love you, but
forgot all
no.
about
No.
Old Conan O'Brien shit.
God damn it. But, yeah, so I used to work at this restaurant. It was a great gig. I worked there every night except for Monday night. But, like, I wasn't a big smoker at the time. And, like, the rest of the crew were big smokers. So, like, I very quickly found out, like, being, like, shotgunned was, where you do this weird hand shit.
That is, yeah.
And, like, that was a 45-minute drive home from me. So, like, I'd have to drive home. So, I'd be so high that the only way I can equivalent this is, like, watching an 8mm, like, film on a projector. You get that shutter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
I know you're.
and I'm driving home, and I'm in this shutter mode, and I'm probably driving, I don't know, 8.5 miles an hour through the back roads of Jackson. Yeah, I mean, horrific.
Yeah.
And, like, I've never had an instance, and I've told stories on this podcast before of people who when I got more inclined with smoking weed, who I fucked up on the 3-liter grab bong and shit like that.
Yeah.
What was the most catastrophic weed moment for you?
For myself,
Yeah.
I there might have been one that was worse, but as far as what I can remember, it's the one that stands out in my memory on account of the fact that we're talking about marijuana. Obviously, the memory does fade a little bit.
Sure.
But I do remember this one particular occurrence. I was working at a shop in Tom's River.
Okay.
And the neighbor, somebody who was working at the neighboring store, she came over, and she was like, I've got some wheat brownies.
Oh.
And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was not very into that. But
Right.
I was open to the idea, And she was like, I got one for you. It's free. No problem.
Oh.
I was like, cool. And she was like, just take a bite, though.
Oh.
Like, that's all that you need.
Just
like,
a nibble.
And if that doesn't do anything for you, then you do a little bit more. Now, this person was a very seasoned professional.
Right.
She was doing this
yeah,
all the
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Way into these things. And I was not. So I still had like a whole shift ahead of me. So take a bite. Time goes by. Half an hour. Nothing. Take another bite. Time goes by.
Yeah.
Another
Nothing.
End up eating the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, of course.
She specifically told me not to.
Yeah.
And I ended up eating the whole thing because I was just like, it's nothing. You know?
Oh, it's fucked up.
Basically, I didn't take her seriously.
Blah, blah, blah.
And if there was anybody to take seriously, it's a white girl with dreads.
Yes.
Like, that's how you know that shit is legit. You know, but I was that idiot.
I drank one of her potions once, so I'm also an idiot.
You know
so,
what I'm talking about, yeah. So I eat the whole thing, nothing, right? Now it's the end of my shift. Hours have gone by.
Yeah.
I get into my car, and I've got maybe like a 15, 20-minute commute back to my apartment.
Right.
We were living together at the time then. And I'm maybe like 10
sexy.
minutes away. 10 minutes away from the spot. And, like, it kind of all hits me at once. And I'm no joke. This is a road where it's like we're in, like, cop territory. We're literally,
very
like, fucking,
yes.
we're 10 minutes from the main police station.
No,
and they kind of patrol the area.
County.
That is
county.
swarming.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm on this, like, there's one lane. There's nowhere for me to, like, get my way out of trouble. I'm just there. And everyone behind me has to deal with whatever I'm about to do. And what I did was slow down to 10 miles an hour on a 40-mile-per-hour road. Because I genuinely did not feel safe driving at 40 miles an hour.
Everyone behind you
miles
was
an hour.
drunk.
So I'm
like,
driving
fuck
at
you.
this obnoxiously slow speed, and I know that I'm doing everything wrong. But I don't.
You're hyper aware.
Yeah,
Hyper aware.
I don't want to hurt anybody else, so I won't go any faster. And it's just like, even though I'm going 10 miles an hour, which we've all driven cars before, that's absurdly slow.
And this
obnoxiously slow.
This
But
particular space, there is completely open.
Yeah.
There is no way that anyone within a quarter of a mile does not see your car.
I am so visible doing this. And I knew that. I was very well aware of how absurd this situation was. And the last thing that I wanted was to get pulled over. But at the same time, I did not feel like I could operate the vehicle at 15 miles an hour. That was too fast. It would be terrifyingly fast to be traveling slightly slower than a bicycle. I just could not do that thing. So I'm just cruising. And so I'm like doing this ridiculous thing that's very real. And I'm also so fucking panicking in my head because I clearly am fucked up. You know? And I'm also regretting all of the choices that I made that led up to this moment.
There's a legitimate difference between like being a little bit high and being fucking high.
Yeah.
The choice to consume anything that is given to you by a white girl with dreads.
With dreads.
The worst.
At the very least, you should expect to find yourself inside of like a Batman Arkham Asylum scarecrow level.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I was...
Oh, you gave me a quarter less, just mixed with mescaline.
I'll tell you this. Not only was I there, Pat, but I was in a variety of different other comic book movies at the same time. they were all happening. They were all very real for me.
None of them were good. Versus.
It took me the time that it took me to turn from that road into my own neighborhood.
My God.
I got through the entire sequence of Batman movies, and we're starting at that very beginning, all the way up through the continuous.
So we're talking about 15 minutes here.
Yeah, I took about 20 minutes to park my own goddamn car.
You turned and looked into the passenger seat and saw Sean Connery say, take your time.
I saw Sean Connery.
You have all the time you need.
Looking at Sean Connery. Looking at Christian Bale. It went on and on. It was a terrifying situation. And,
my God.
And then I somehow managed to stumble up my stairs, you know, and really, I had a lot to think about.
It's hilarious. So, like, I know people that are straight up weed people, and that's great. I'm a booze dude, and I'm old school. Call me old school in that way. I know people that can, kill a 6-pack and then smoke a couple blunts and they're fucking crisp.
Some people can, yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
If I have one beer and I smoke, it's nappy time, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, straight out.
And that's just me, and that's fine. Like, I know when I need to, literally, I need to put myself down. I'm like, and I'm like one in or the other, I'm like, oh, well, no, I know the equation to put myself to sleep.
The last time I found myself in a situation like that, I was over our buddy's house down the road.
Yes.
And it was a big party going on, and I was drinking, as I'm wont to do. And I was a few deep in whiskey.
Yeah.
And somebody talked me into, I said multiple times, I was like,
Right. Well, no, because you
this is
always,
not a good
have
idea.
the best intentions up front.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Right.
And they talked me into it. And as I fucking hit the blunt, I was like, you will regret this.
Now you have to deal with the sleepy zombie.
Yep. I think I woke
And
up in a
it's
pond.
fucking true. And, like, I've always found that to be the case. And, like, maybe I could find a better balance down the road. But, like, when I was young, it was like, oh, yeah, I can crush beers. But if I now, like, say, like, in the old days when you could, like, party outside of a concert, you know, I'd show up and crush beers. And then, like, I'd smoke a little bit of weed and I'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah. For me personally, it's that I enjoy the alcohol acts as both a stimulant and a depressant.
It does.
Depending
It
on
does.
where you are in that journey.
Yeah.
Marijuana for me is almost always a depressant.
Yeah.
And I am aware of the varieties of them, but it just acts that way for me. So I know that about myself, that I need to be very careful with when and how I consume.
you know what? And, like, I think that's very good because, like, we both discussed how our personal interactions make that a thing. Moses, you cockroach.
Yeah.
Let's hear about your instances with
He's
smoking
made out of
and drinking.
mescaline.
I don't know if I've ever done the two.
You're a bitch
At all?
and a liar.
The only
He did literally just take an edible. Is that
So you're
fair
saying
statement?
tonight is your first
this
time?
is my first. Yes.
We're getting it live.
It reminds me of a story. It was a. No, it wasn't.
It
that.
was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Let me choose my words carefully here.
Like my grandpappy old reliable used to say.
Oh yeah, we were driving around and just smoking.
Jiving or
blunts.
driving?
Well, both.
Driving and driving.
We were in a Sunbird,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
and
Is that a T-top?
we parked and it's me and Jess.
Did
And-
any turkeys front on you?
It goes back to the anti-taco legislation.
The classic legislation we all know about.
Yes. So we pick up some friends and we start.
Were the friends drugs?
Yeah, they were because
Goo Ball 1 and Goo Ball 2.
they made woos and but laced with PCP.
Oh, woos. Okay, yes.
Well, there was the cocaine in it, but
No, we explain
and-
what a woo is then.
well, a woo is just like a blunt with cocaine.
No, I know,
Oh.
but yes,
Not everyone
It's not for
knows
us.
what that is.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I was.
I don't know what it's called with with the PCP.
Yeah,
but-
I was thinking of something more along like the Noid from the old Domino's commercials.
I can tell you haven't lived Moses' life.
we wound up driving around, and I don't like. There's a part that I remember smoking, and then in complete blackout.
I'm surprised you don't remember all of it.
And then we wound up at a Denny's.
Oh, as you do.
As
in
one
New
does,
Jersey.
yeah.
Back then,
How many legs were sticking out from the stalls when you went into the bathroom?
I was worried about the legs that were sticking out from my car.
Oh, well then, fair.
Yeah.
Now I know you were the terrorist.
As you pound a beer with the marijuana that you didn't take before.
No, I didn't.
All right, can I ask a completely impromptu,
Please.
lightning question
Yes,
to
yes,
everyone
yeah, yeah.
else? Have you ever blacked out?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I have.
Yeah, 100%.
I have never blacked out.
Really?
Good for
Ever.
you. Legit good for you.
Yeah.
No, I have. You all know me. I'm fucking imbibed.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like legit good for you because it's the worst feeling in the world.
I just like I just always hear stories about it, and I'm like, how has
They're
that
not good stories,
how have
though,
I?
right?
Not,
I have a question
it
about
doesn't.
the,
I
how could
know
they
they're
be
not
good
stories.
stories?
Hey, let's take it.
I have a question. I have a question about the blackout.
Yeah.
and maybe this makes me sound like someone who's definitely blacked out before, so I'm willing to take that.
Well, I'll shed my bullshit.
Is blacking out that you remember the evening but don't kind of remember how you went to sleep?
I call that the gray.
Yeah,
I call that the gray.
because for myself, like I have. Like, I remember the evening, but I don't remember how I went to sleep.
I fully blacked out before. No, what yours?
You could remember
what you're
the
calling.
night.
What you are talking about is what I would call like falling in the gray. I have fully blacked out before. With at like no memory past 10 o'clock at night. The party went to like 4 o'clock in the morning. Just full autopilot bullshit.
All right, so that's I guess that's maybe the question then. So I have done that too.
I haven't done it in a long time.
I have done that when I was young.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I know someone who sometimes goes down to Atlantic City.
Absolutely.
And maybe they drink too much, and they do remember the evening.
I call that the gray.
Yeah.
You're in the gray zone.
But they remember right up until they get to their room.
Yes, of
But they
course.
don't remember anything that happens once the door closes behind them.
It's a protective
I have
mechanism.
a friend.
It's a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
And like I've been there numerous times. I ain't proud of that shit, but I've been blacked out numerous times.
Yeah.
When I was younger, because I was a fucking maniac fucking kid.
Oh, yeah.
But even to this day, every now and then a gray out session fucking happens.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah. I do try to avoid that. I'm not proud of it myself.
No, and you're absolutely right.
Sometimes it happens.
But it happens. It's definitely happened to me. I won't hide that
It's
shit.
God's will, Moses.
Yes, like who's to judge? Only God.
I just have never experienced any of that.
God,
I have certainly like gone out with the intention of being like, fuck it, tonight I'm drinking.
Well, I'm
to
ruining my
excess.
life tonight.
Yeah, like I expect to be useless tomorrow.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I respect that because like for me, as a control person as I am, like the blackout is like the worst case scenario.
It's the worst thing. I mean, I'll say this about it, and I don't know whether that's like I was about to say like that's very commendable, but I'm not sure that that's the right thing to say to that.
No, I'm in the same boat on that. But yeah,
it's also like I'll say this about myself when I decide. Like if we're in my own home, if I'm out of the bar, I'll put it this way: if we're out of the bar, I will drink to a point where I can still safely, do the things that I need
I
to
used
do.
to make those calls, dude.
Yeah.
I used to make those calls, and like if I was close enough to home, I knew there was a point. And it's not a healthy fucking thing, but it's the fucking truth of the matter. Is like. Yeah, I'm going to get fucking blackout drunk tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And we all make those decisions for ourselves, right? So I'll go to the bar and I'll get myself to the place where I think I can still do the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
And still, basically still fulfill the things that I have
I'll
to
get drunk enough, I'll be able to pay the tab, but everything else is like in the wind.
If I'm at home, then
yes,
I
we're
will
all
drink.
very responsible.
Oh, yeah, all so responsible.
If I'm at home, then I will drink to whatever point I feel like it. And I will say that when I find myself in a, like I'll use Atlantic City as the obvious conclusion.
Yeah.
It's a place where I specifically go to get fucked up. There's a psychological aspect
Absolutely.
there where I almost like choose to lose myself. So I don't know if that's...
If you want to set that up, I will carry that on with myself because this is really a problem I have with myself. So basically, a lot of times when we can make it work, we'll go down to AC, we'll have a night where we go gamble and whatnot, and that's a lot of fucking fun. And like I don't play the lottery. I don't. My only like real gambling, I like the horses. So I'll go once or twice in the summer, like to Monmouth, to bet on the horses. But I like to go to AC, but not solo. I will never go to AC solo. It's not my jam.
Oh yeah.
There is something there, and like to. Play the tables, say we like to play fucking dice and shit like that, and it's a good fucking time. But what I would absolutely say is that there is something there.
You're allowed to.
Well, it's almost an excuse.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Excuse.
It's an excuse to, and I mean, I'll say this for myself because obviously everybody will perceive it in their own way. But for myself, I'm there to be the shittiest version of me.
Yeah.
Right,
Which
and that's the point.
Yeah, exactly,
They have set up an environment where they are trying to attract that behavior.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because when you do that,
And-
you are spending money. You're either spending
Exactly
money
right. You're
on
much
the
more
alcohol
lube
that
to let that
costs
money
them
go.
pennies
Yeah.
on the dollar,
Yeah.
or you are losing that money at gambling or whatever.
One way or another, you're losing that money.
You're going there with the intention of having fun and opening up your wallet.
Yeah.
The
They want
last
you there.
time it wasn't the last time actually, but it was the time before last. I went down there with my lady, and we went down to the craps table, and I'm not proud of this. It's very embarrassing.
Well, no,
But-
I'm going to share a similar story as soon as you
Fair
go to
enough.
this story.
We went down to the craps table, and I remember getting to the craps table. I drank a bottle of liquor before we got there, and then at the craps table, I obviously I'm at a craps table, so I'm going to order Hennessy.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm not ordering Bud Lights when they're free.
No.
You know, I'm getting a proper thing. So I get Hennessy's filled up to the top, tip the girl real nice, and then I'm just like drinking, like I'm double fisting fucking Hennies, you know? And like some of the dealers at the craps table, it's like I've met them before.
They know
remember
us.
me,
They know us.
And some of them, it's an awkward exchange. So I'm looking at them with one eye closed.
Because, like,
it's
I've
not a
known
good
them-
look. You know, I'm putting forth my worst version.
Paint,
you know?
paint us a picture. Like,
Tell-
what is,
well, also,
what is
like-
your situation? Here?
Like,
what's
also, I'm going to back him
I'm
up.
leaning
in
on
this.
one side. It's like I had a stroke.
what's the best case scenario for the end of
It's
your
not
life?
really a best case scenario.
No, I mean like his best case scenario, like whether or not he has like a dame with him, or maybe he's
All right,
trying
so
to
if he
pick
has a
somebody
date with
up
him, he's
while
a
at the
sucker
table?
times two.
Yeah.
If you're on table, that's what you are.
Yeah.
But like we've done this so many times, and we talk about it. So like, well, all right, we're gonna meet up. We're gonna go down to AC. Blah blah blah, and then we have a couple drinks, and we have drinks in the room, and then we get down to the table, and we're fucked up, and like we all know how to play,
Yeah.
but we can't show it
Yeah.
because we're so fucked up at the table.
Yeah.
And it's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, and we've both gone both ways in this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like next time, yo, we're not drinking before we get on the table.
And that's just
No,
it.
yeah.
I'm so self-conscious about
Yeah.
my gambling, though,
Yeah.
that I have to drink before I get to the
No,
table.
man,
The same thing we do it every fucking time.
you gotta play poker when. Like when you drink too much and you have a group of guys, you have to like go take over a poker table.
you're absolutely-
and just be like, all right, me and my buds are sitting
Yeah.
here. We're playing Texas Hold'em against the house. We're all a little too tipsy, but like we're still just like kind of
Pat,
playing.
you
with
could
each other.
not be more right if you tried. It's just that when you're fucked up, you think you can run the fucking craps table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I do know that about Giuseppe.
Yeah, Giuseppe.
Right? Giuseppe.
I've done these
Giuseppe
things.
loves to run a craps table.
Yeah.
I somehow make a lot of money.
Does
on
it
craps.
does it really well? Like,
Yeah. I don't know
leans
how it
into
happens.
You have the personality for it.
I guess.
Well, you play what I would say about Giuseppe. Giuseppe plays a good meaningful game where you can actually address what's happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And you know enough.
I do know the game. Shockingly, I do know the game.
And what I would say,
That is a
playing next
rare
to you,
thing.
Yeah.
You play a very good mid game. You play a good game
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I don't know how to play the high horn and that shit. I'll
No,
say
no,
this.
yeah.
I was just down there the other day. Once again, this is an embarrassing story.
Oh
And
no! Listen, I'm here with
So
you.
I'll say this: I go down there a fair amount, and there's this one dealer down there at Caesars, I think. And,
Which one are we talking about?
T.
T. Yeah. Of
T
course. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
He's a Ruski or Ukrainian,
No, he's
something like that.
Ruski.
He's a
of some
Slavic
sort.
person.
Yeah.
I wasn't
And,
worried about anyone's gambling until the moment where they both named a deal, a specific scene.
They're not addicted. They could stop anytime.
I can stop anytime.
I'm not stopping anything
So-
at any time.
I'll say this, and I mean this genuinely. I've played with him very sober, and most of the time I've been very wasted.
He can be very gracious or really condescending.
T is like he's excellent at his job, but he's got like this shit-eating grin on his face the whole time, and he'll never help you with the game.
If you're
Some
looking
stick
for
men-
a gracious stick man, he's not your guy.
Like usually, like you're a dealer, you usually do something to kind of help the players because that's how you get tips.
Yeah, you want
Yeah.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he legitimately does not do that. That's not his game.
No,
he's
not
kind
at all.
of in it to watch you fail.
He likes to make fun of you.
That he's like that. And I respect that. That's awesome. Like, good for him, you know? But it's very obvious that he's like that, and obviously he's against you, you know?
Yeah.
So he and I have interacted multiple times.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I show up there at the table the other day, and I drank, I think, everything that was left in this bottle that I finished here.
God bless. God
yeah,
bless. God
it was a lot. I drank an awful
Yeah.
lot, and then I was double fisting Henny because my girl didn't want to drink anymore.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So I was pretty tuned up.
Yeah.
And I get up to this like third craps table, and I get up there, and I was like, tea.
Yeah.
He's just like, and he never says anything. He doesn't speak to you. He just like gives you different versions.
He gives
of
you
smiles.
eyes.
Yeah, he gives you eyes. Yeah, and they're always like douchey, and he's right. You know, because like everybody at the table is a douchebag. You know, self included.
He is
like,
very.
He's 100%.
I'm sorry. He has very cunty eyes.
Yeah, exactly. It's
There's a little bit of a culture to craps in Atlantic City, and you have to want in on it.
No, 100%.
And it
100%.
attracts
And
a
you gotta
lot of
understand,
people.
a dude like him, he's seeing the week-long craps players.
he's tired of it,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
100% right.
No, absolutely.
So there I am at the fucking table, and I'm playing with Justin the mechanic, and there's like other people who are like rolling hot and what have you.
Yeah.
And I was clearly fucked up. And mechanic was a little bit more sober, and he's reminding me like every 2 minutes. He's like,
Which
"You gotta put your chips on the craps
I'm
line."
sorry, but
this, that,
bitch
the other.
ass mechanic, Justin, I love you. You have my namesake, but you're the worst card player ever.
That's spicy.
I felt like every time that I like, and I don't know if I was actually like this, but like when I look at it in hindsight, like he would tell me because he was like trying to help me, you know, and like T's like giving me these fucking eyes, like, "Oh man, you
What are
fucked
you
up.
fucking
You're gonna
stupid?"
lose all your money tonight,"
Yeah.
and he loves it, you know.
Yeah.
And our boy mechanic, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Yo, Pete, you got to put your money behind the fucking craps line," and I felt
I'm
like in my mind,
I know how to play the pass
but
line,
that's just
bitch.
it. You're exactly right. I look back on it and I was like, oh my God, I was acting like fucking Scarface. Where it's like, I know how to play the game. You want to fuck with me? I know how to play it. Put my fucking chips down. And I'm fucking throwing chips all over the table. And they're acting like, you need to leave the table if you throw your chips like that. I'm like, he's got it. He's fucking got him.
He knows what's up.
And I'm just like yelling at people and just being a douchebag.
It's the fucking worst.
I'm just being a total asshole.
like,
for no
straight
reason.
up-
Everybody's
straight
being
up-
so nice.
and
And I'm the douchebag
We
there.
played on so many tables and we have both won the absolute douchebags.
Yeah. It was just totally absurd. Yeah, shockingly, I somehow won like $800
Piece
there.
of wisdom.
Yeah. And I did give T a good tip. After I talked a lot of shit.
try
in
to
his
gamble
face.
before you get blackout drunk.
Yeah.
All right, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
In Atlantic City,
Yeah.
you behave like that. Everyone comes out of it like fine. Like
Oh, yeah.
you have given everyone an anecdote that will always
well,
get
I
them a
would
fucking
say,
laugh.
Not
And-
everybody comes out fine. I grew up learning like you go down there with what you're willing to lose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I know a lot of people that don't come out of there fine.
No, I know. I know a couple of people that just, and they still go there.
I'd go ahead and say that everyone who has fought in Vietnam should probably avoid Atlantic City.
Those
ain't wrong.
17 of you.
I think
left-
that's solid advice.
Yeah.
You think they're listening?
No, they don't have.
No, they're playing the slots, buddy.
Maybe that's our demographic.
They're listening to Neil Diamond and
I would love that.
Great artist.
The jazz singer.
yeah, it's not
Oh,
unusual.
don't give me, oh God, I got such a sad story about the jazz singer. No, I can't share.
It's my
literally
mother's-
how my parents got married.
Oh,
So
it's my mother's
depressing.
favorite movie.
A good would be.
Wait, aren't we talking about the first talkie? No, what was that?
We're not talking about the first talkie.
It was a Nickelodeon. I think.
Oh, right on.
We're way off base, and I love it.
This we're still recording.
Yeah, we're all.
We're doing our best.
All right. Good job, guys. We did it.
Hey, Pat,
You want to go to Atlantic City?
Yeah, let's go gamble some.
I just want to say I love you, brother.
I love
You're a
you
good
too,
man.
Justin.
You're doing it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep coming back. It works if you work it.
Oh my God, get a new line.
Stick with the oldies.
It works if you work it, though.
Work it, girl.
I'm looking forward to running this train.
Yeah. Oh, well, you would be the conductor.
Oh, choo choo.
Choo choo.
You bitch.
Oh my God, what a motherfucker.
But we really did a horrible thing, and I was not really paying attention to the thing, but
We did it.
we did a thing.
Look at us.
I love you fuckers.
You guys are fun.
I got mixed feelings.
All right, I'm jumping in here because you guys have not followed my outline at all. I told the audience.
You're upsetting Pat, Dan.
I told the audience this episode was about weed, and we talked for the last 20 minutes about gambling in Atlantic City.
I thought it was about vices.
Dan, we were going to do that podcast, but then we got high.
Clearly.
No.
Afro-Man, where are you?
Yeah.
He's here. He's asleep.
It's appropriate that in an episode that was supposed to be about weed, you guys cannot stay on topic.
Nope.
So,
You guys like pastries? Yo, Dan, just
why do I
bear with
produce
me
the
for a
show?
minute. Apple or
Where's
lemon?
that cat? He was better. I like him better.
Oh, where is the cat? The cat's here somewhere.
Yeah, he was.
I'm gonna be traditional like apple.
Yeah. Oh, shit. No, I'm a lemon guy.
So-
guy.
I mean, like,
Dan, lemon or apple?
avant-garde. Lemon.
I'm going to go lemon, too.
I'm stopping this.
Lemon.
And I'm bringing us
With
back
apple
on
toast.
topic.
Shut up,
Moses.
Dan's doing a
Enough.
thing. We gotta listen to Daddy Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
Well, maybe if you just
Sup,
did what I
Daddy?
told you to.
Sup, Daddy?
Is his name Dad or Dan?
It's both.
We'll figure it out in the future.
So, guys, talking about weed, or supposed to be at least, tell me about any sort of bad or good trips that you might have had. Because I recall taking an edible, and I do the same thing that you do. I take an edible just so I can, fall asleep.
Sleep it off.
Kind of like takes the edge off of everything.
Takes the edge off, takes the anxiety away. I just want to go to sleep, and I don't want to think about my own mortality. And then what was interesting about this, I took a 10.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep, and for whatever reason, it wasn't so much that I had a dream about being a child again. I thought I had traveled back in time and quantum leaped into my 13-year-old self.
Oh, that's awesome. I have dreams like something akin to that.
I have a story here, and basically, I'll fully talk like I'm good. I can take the everyday, like 5 milligram, like the mints, what we generally get around here. They're fine. They take the edge off of everything. I made the very understandable mistake of like, I took a 10. Nothing happened. I took another 10.
Oh.
Nothing happened. Oh, I took a
Moses
10.
game.
Oh, I'm in the atmosphere. This happened at the worst case scenario, and Christina's going to listen to this, so yeah, sorry, you got to revisit this. This happened, and a friend of the show, Peter, was there. Bitch.
Yeah.
I got super high at the most inopportune moment ever, where my girlfriend and her best friend were fighting.
Oh, yeah, I remember this now.
I kind of remember.
Yeah,
this,
they were screaming at each other.
Yeah.
And slightly off to the right-hand side was you, Peter,
Yeah.
and the cousin of my family, talking about bridges.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to
That
talk
was
about...
so delightfully
Yes.
awkward.
Yeah.
I love that.
All I wanted to do was be in this conversation about bridges.
Yeah.
And all I could focus on was my girlfriend and her best friend screaming at each other.
It was. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll chime in insofar as I
Yeah.
can. It's exactly, you just described
No,
it. but
it's
yeah.
exactly what it was. There's
These
nothing more or
two
less
women
about it.
were
Yeah.
having a serious issue.
friendship fight.
Yeah, that they needed to work out.
Yep.
And I was engaged in a conversation about bridges.
And I was
and
so
it was
high.
so nice.
Was it about specific bridges? Were you like,
just like
architectural design,
engineering,
of bridges.
how you
so you
build
were like,
bridges.
I
Yeah.
really like a covered bridge.
Yeah.
And-
Well, no,
Engineering,
not the types of
which
bridges
is
like
what I went
how
to
you
school and I
construct them.
love.
Yeah.
But I could not look away from the fact that my girlfriend and her best friend were screaming at each other.
Whereas my methodology of it is that when any one of you is having some
Yeah.
sort of a personal squabble,
yeah.
be it that you're directly involved in,
Yeah.
or it's that your loved one is engaging in their own squabble.
There
and
was
you're
nothing anybody was going to be able to
vicariously
do about that.
For
I was-
myself, it's that I will always find a bridge engineer in the room, and I will have a conversation with them about something
well, like I said,
enjoy.
I was so
You would get along with my grandfather.
yeah.
Delightful.
My grandfather, literally was a safety inspector for the
Yeah.
Turnpike.
Oh my God.
Literally, and,
You know what? This was getting a little bit awkward for me, so I'll see you guys later.
he knows enough to talk about engineering. The lady who owns the house knows enough to talk about engineering. All literally in my mind, because I'm so fucking high. So I'm like,
You were in that state where you didn't want to talk to anybody.
No,
which
I
is
was
how
not.
I am when I smoke. That's why I don't like to do it.
no, it was full observance, and I'm like, Christina's really mad.
Yeah.
She's fighting with her best friend. I hate this.
I will remain in this exact same space.
My best
I will say
friend,
nothing.
and my best friend is talking to her cousin about bridges.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about bridges right now, but I could not. I was so body high
Yeah.
by like just the level of what do you call it? Edibles that
Yeah.
I took.
For me, it's like, and it's a dated reference. So
Yeah.
It's one that you'll enjoy, Dan. But for myself, and this is exactly why I don't like to smoke.
Yeah.
But I find myself in that type of a situation when I'm high, and I'm just Homer Simpson, where his brain says to him, "You can stay here." And my brain just leaves and does a more fun thing. And now I'm just a shell of a person who is waiting for my brain to return to me at some
I'll be the
point.
first person to admit that, like, I generally take, as it's not a microdosing, but I take a 5 milligram at the end of any given day, and it chills me out enough. I'm not getting this high fucking situation that I gotta deal with.
Yeah.
And like that 5 milligram edible, it's a mint.
It
And
gives
it's
you
like,
the essence of what
no,
the
it
high
gives me
should be,
it kind of cuts the edge enough, but without also being like I'm entering into this high state.
It's
Well, I
the
mean,
same
it's-
way as like taking a sip of like scotch,
Sure,
a little,
Or drinking a beer before you go for a round of golf. It legitimately
I completely
loosens you
understand
up.
I don't know how you
Like,
golf without
I'm
drinking
more
a shit ton the whole
inclined-
time.
Like, as much as I love drinking, like, I'm more inclined to just knock the edge off with a fucking quasi fucking edible.
I just thought of this now,
Yeah.
but I would love to share this with you guys.
Yeah, please.
I might have told you this, Pat. I'm sure that I never told you this story. So, as I told you guys, I'm not big on smoking because I know my reaction to it.
Yeah.
So this was like many months, a year ago, something like that. It was a Sunday, no work, casual day.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, I do like smoking. I'm going to smoke today.
I'm going to try something
I'm going to
different
try
today.
it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try it, and I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going
Yeah.
to go out and do my
Yeah.
gardening thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I smoke a little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, that is a fair amount. So I'm like a little bit high. I walk outside, and I'm in my garden, and I'm just like doing my thing. I'm pulling weeds. I'm looking at the beautiful things, you know, hanging out with butterflies and what have you. And I'm just trying to enjoy this. For me, it's like a
Right,
magical moment, you know?
Yeah.
And this was all about, like, in my mind, I was like, this is the time that I
This
can
is
enjoy
life.
this without any of this other interference. You know, I don't need to drink right now. I just need to, like, just enjoy.
No, I fully understand where you're coming from.
beautiful.
I've fucked myself up doubly over with what you're
So
saying. Yeah.
I'm in my garden, and I'm not out there for 5 minutes, and I hear someone yelling, "Hey!"
Yeah.
and I ignore it.
Hey!
Because I didn't know what else to do.
Hey!
Because I immediately panicked. Because I just like assumed that they were talking to me. And that's like, and they probably weren't. So I was just like, you're just thinking
No,
that.
you're a bitch.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, you're on your
I was like,
property. Why would it
I'm
be?
on my own property. I'm not bothering anybody. I've got a big hedge between me and all the neighbors.
The
You know,
last
there's no
thing you
neighbors on
want
the
is
other side.
someone invading your space.
Yeah, you know, so I'm just like,
And
I'm
also
just like,
yelling.
yeah.
That's
So I'm
when
just saying to
guns
myself,
akimbo.
I'm just like, be cool, man.
Yep.
Like, just be cool. You smoked a little bit. You're just being a little paranoid.
Yep.
It's all good. It's like they're not talking to you. They're not yelling at you. Just enjoy your garden. So I'm gardening, and it's hey. And it's getting louder and louder.
No.
And I'm like,
My worst
I'm so uncomfortable right now. And sure enough, it gets to the point where this voice is 15 feet away from me.
Right.
And it's clear.
It's permeating everything.
Because there's no one else around.
Yeah.
And I look over, and it's a man that I've never met before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey.
Hey,
And-
back, buddy.
And he goes, I'm RJ. I'm your new neighbor. Now, mind you, this guy moved in months ago.
Oh,
and I
shit.
chose to not meet him.
Yeah.
I deliberately avoided this whole scenario because I'm super awkward and I didn't want to go and interact with some fucking person that I didn't know. I will say this about him. I did hear him yelling.
No, sure.
Over the time that he had been there, he's like from North Jersey. He's got a thicker accent. than we
Transplant
got.
dude, yeah.
So he'd be like out in the streets yelling
Right.
about fucking
Right.
nonsense and what have you. Yeah. So I like turn around and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, you got a minute? And I panicked.
It's
And
one
I
of
was
those
like,
things.
yeah.
I absolutely do, but I don't want to.
So I walk over to my own hedge.
Yeah.
So now there's like 10 feet of bushes between us.
Yep.
And they're like 20 feet up in the
God,
air.
you're talking feel like you live in the British Isles.
Between two ferns.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So we're like, we can't really see each other, but we're talking to each other, so it's awkward as it could be. And he's like, I want to talk to you about your lawn.
Oh.
I'm like, all right.
Oh, this is the water story?
This is the water story.
Yeah.
So, and I'll give you the backstory of this as we go, but basically he's like, do you get a lot of flooding over there? And I was like, yeah, I do. And the whole time I'm like the other part of my brain is trying to find a way to segue out of this. But yes, it's that guy.
Yeah, I thought so.
And I just have no way to do it. My brain is just like the part of my brain that I'm depending on to be like me, the person that I am. My soul is looking at the other part of my brain. One half of me, that's me right now, having that conversation with this guy RJ, and I'm looking at the other half saying like, you gotta get us out of this.
Yeah.
And that half of my brain is like, no, you fucked. I'm leaving. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And so basically, he's like, I want to talk to you about the lawn. And I'm like, all right. I have no way out of that.
And then this is
the other half of my brain
North Jersey, like legit the fucking stereotype of a fucking Guido-ass motherfucker.
He says to me, he's like...
Sorry, Pat.
It's like, you got a lot of... He goes, do you have a lot of flooding over there? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, over here, it's like, what did he say? It's like Lake Michigan.
Yeah, Lake Michigan.
I'm like, I'm
That's
like,
really specific.
Yeah, it's very specific. And I was like,
look at here what it's caused by.
And he goes, what do you do about it? And I'm like, I don't.
I don't do anything about it.
I can't fight nature.
Yeah.
This is a lawn that is literally at sea level.
Yeah.
At the very
we're what are you, like a foot or two off of sea level?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, it's just like that. It's swampy. And he's like, well, I drove up and down this whole street. There's like 200 houses here. And he goes, and nobody's lawns are flooded. I'm like, they are though.
Yeah,
They're all flooded.
You may not realize it, but
I was like, if you want to walk around my yard right now, you will find
you'll realize what the state of it is.
And he kind of
was he upset that your lawn wasn't flooded? Was he like, how dare you have an unflooded lawn?
But get that? So like the conversation continues, and I'm so desperate to get out of it. Like I legitimately could not be more uncomfortable because I'm so fucking high. Like the highness is increasing. I already reached my maximum high a half an hour ago, but like the situation is making me higher.
Now you hate everything.
I hate everything, and I'm just thinking to myself like, oh my god, I'm a drug addict now. I'm addicted to marijuana. You know, like, why is this happening? Why did I do this to myself? And so, like, he just keeps talking, and he doesn't, like, get the cue that I'm, like, clearly not into the conversation. And he says to me, he's like, listen, I'm just trying to deal with the flooding on my property. He keeps repeating the fucking Lake Michigan thing, which still makes no sense to me. Yeah. And he goes, and that's why I cut down all the trees. And this was the moment where I said, because I noticed this. Like I said, he had moved in prior. He cut down all the trees. And I said to him, like, so now I'm not interested in getting out of the conversation. I'm very curious. And I said to him, I was like, you know what? I did notice that you cut down all the trees. How does that relate to the flooding? And he goes, well, the trees draw water. So I got rid of them so that they wouldn't keep drawing water to the property.
Do, though.
And I, in my mind, collapsed into some sort of
drink the water.
a dystopian chaos. Yeah. And I don't even know what I said. I might have said nothing, but I know that in my mind I was shocked.
What do you say? What do you say?
It would have been a long road to explain the flaw in his logic.
But then he says, and he goes, and then that's why when I cut down the trees and that didn't work, I got rid of the bushes. These are all things. And then I got rid of the grass.
Yeah.
And he did these things. And I watched this happen prior to this
just had
conversation,
dirt
and
in the
I
back?
had no explanation in my mind. But I just decided to let it lie. And now all of a sudden I was faced with the question that I never wanted to ask, and it was being kind of like wrought upon me.
Yep.
And I just had no answer. And he also wanted me to like validate it. And I didn't want to insult him because I have to live next to this man.
Yeah, no, there is no way to answer that.
Yeah.
Did he put down rocks? Is that what he did?
No, he didn't.
No.
He paid someone to build a grass hill in his front yard, which now pushes all of the water towards his crawl space.
And it's actually, as far as I'm
I'm not joking. As funny as that
No,
sounds.
she had to put the hill in, and he had like a whole level of bluestone put down.
Yeah.
Man.
It's yeah. He
it's
believed.
It's not the responsibility of contractors to ask homeowners.
You can't talk people out of things that they just want. And
Yeah. If somebody says, put this stupid hill in, you're just like,
it's like, fine.
all right.
I said to
Sign this.
I saw another neighbor coming by. He was rolling around on a fucking tractor or whatever it was.
Yep.
And I saw him going past, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Neighborly shit. We were just chatting about whatever, and I said to him, "I was like, listen, man, I don't like to gossip about people."
Right. But this ain't on me.
But you met these people who moved in here from North Jersey, and he's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely."
Oh yeah, I know.
And I was like, "You know, they cut down their trees and everything, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah. No, my landscaping service did that." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Was that a thing that made sense?" And he's like, "No."
No.
And I'm like, "What are they thinking?" This is a man who's lived here for like 50 years, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, I told him that didn't make any sense. He just wanted to do it anyway. And it kind of, the conversation went deeper and deeper, and we kind of got back to things that even preceded this conversation about the agriculture, I guess. And I was like, what is up with these people? And it's like, and I just said to him, and it was a thing that I was like ignoring up until I had this personal conversation. Right. But it was my first inkling of him before we had this conversation about how trees lure water to your property.
Yeah.
I was like, they yell out in the street sometimes, and I'm not complaining
At the water?
because I don't really care. But like, do you hear it? And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Is it like a problem? Is it a thing?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I don't really understand it either." But he's like, "I think that's just how they talk."
Of this fucking asshole. Who's probably the most genuine person in this fucking story.
Yeah.
But like the naivete of it is just like,
It's incredible though, and I still can't get past the idea that there is a grown man. He's like 55 years old, let's say.
Yeah, no, he
He's
is.
55 years old. He's got a much more respectable career than I think I have. And he believes that plants lure water
bring all
to property.
Yeah.
That you don't need to water plants is the implication.
I remember
that
when
they
you told me
drive
this
there.
story.
Because I was so goddamn frustrated.
When you told me this
And I
story,
wasn't high anymore, so I had nothing to help me deal with it.
we were outside your house, and then you told me this story. You had just ended it, and then he came walking over.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going inside because now I
can't
know,
deal
like,
with
this is too much. Like, it got too real,
The
man.
only other time that I've interacted with him was, and it was right around that time that you're describing, was that Steve showed up, drunk Steve showed up, and he was like stopping by or whatever the case may be. So he gets in touch with me, and he was like, yo, I stopped by. You weren't home. What's up? And I was like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
this,
wasn't
that, the
home.
other. And he goes, what's with your neighbor?
He's a
What are you
neighbor.
talking about? It's like, you know. I'm like, oh, that guy? And he's like, yeah. And I go, what was he doing? Was he doing something bad? And he goes, he was out in the street, in the middle of the road, yelling about nails. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he was doing that this morning, too. So 6 hours had gone by. And he was out in the street, just like kind of arms up in the air, like aghast. You know, like if that's the word. Yelling up to God about
of whatever
who
Of
left
nails, the
nails
god of
out
nails.
on the road. And it was probably him, but there was no one else there. And I saw it and ignored it. And it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
That's why I never like parking on that side of over there, because
So to answer your question, Dan, that's why I don't like smoking weed in anywhere.
zing of the day.
That was the longest answer to a question I have ever had the displeasure of having to listen to.
You're welcome.
I'm even looking at the template, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't even know where that fits in.
No.
I forgot what we were talking about.
The template has been abandoned.
Yeah.
But you know what? You shouldn't abandon the idea that you should subscribe to this podcast.
Yeah.
Leave us.
Smash that like button.
God damn it.
I like how you're trying to participate.
Yeah.
Leave us a
I'm good. I'll just,
Leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell. Follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you enjoyed this podcast, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loudanddrunk. So, Moses, we had a productive conversation, I would say. You have any closing thoughts?
Question mark?
Keep doing it, man.
Your closing thoughts are just such a... Jesus Christ. Justin, do you have any closing thoughts?
Listen, it's okay. Just to fucking do whatever you want to fucking do. This shit. Just be happy. Don't fuck up anybody else's lives around you, and just take care of yourself.
Giuseppe, closing thoughts.
When you're thinking about home safety, remember to remove any item that might draw water towards your home. In the age of climate change, we need to be very mindful of flooding. And if you have a tree or grass on your property, all of these things are items that could potentially cause flooding on your own land. And it's best to be safe rather than be sorry. In addition to that, don't do drugs. They kill.
I thought this was going to be one of those cat security things.
Giuseppe signing off.
Giuseppe signing off. We love all of you.
God bless.
We do.
You guys and your closing thoughts.
We're terrible.
Goodness gracious. Pat, thank you so much for joining us again. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Trust no one. Anyone that you know can be a lizard person. It does not matter how long that you have known them or how well you think you know them. They could have been replaced by a perfect replica at any time. You need to isolate yourself. No one can be trusted.
I fucking knew it!
I feel like a lizard.
I've been
Am I a
keeping my
lizard
mouth shut the
person?
whole podcast, Dan. Thank you, Pat. You can't silence us any further.
God damn it. Yeah. I'm trying so desperately to think of the community guidelines on YouTube right now.
Put this on YouTube. Put this on YouTube, Dan.
Immediately.
Dan, YouTube.
We'll be silenced so quickly.
They can't shut us all down, man.
We had one of their own. He exposed himself.
It is the easiest possible thing to do to shut down. We were one podcast.
Hey, Dan, it works if you work it.
Keep coming back.
Why the hell do I produce this podcast? I hate you all
It's a
so
great
much.
question.
So for fuckface, and our guest fuckface, this is producer fuckface.
Which one am I?
It's hard to tell.
Thank you for listening. And until next time, this is Loud and Drunk. God damn you, man.
That's probably our best episode ever.